You do not want to get it in your eyes. It'll probably just hurt really bad. You might want to go to a poison center or something like that if you do it. It supposedly will irritate the skin. I haven't experienced that at all. But this is still kind of lumpy, especially that OxiClean. It didn't really dissolve, which is a problem that I've had. But I'm just going to paint it on here with this spoon. You also want to get all the sticky residue. You want to clean your case very well with soap and water. Just get it looking perfect. I already took a sticker off. I obviously took the rest of my plastics off, which I didn't do the first time. That's why there's a difference in color, because those parts didn't get coated since they were covered up by the center plastic part and all that, and the purple buttons. But you want to get this on here pretty thick. You definitely don't want it thin. You don't want to miss a spot, I would say. And it doesn't really matter too much if it's thick or not. Or, like, it's not going to hurt it if it's thick, I don't think. I've seen some pretty thick applications. Let me turn this around and make it a little easier for myself. But basically, once you've got this done, I've almost got it done here. Last time I used my fingers, and it wasn't a problem, but this stuff is 4 times the strength of hydrogen peroxide than last time, so I'm a little afraid to do that. And obviously it's going to run down your sides, and probably get thin in some spots, so you might anticipate that. Try and keep it thick in some areas. It'll also even out a little bit on its own, I'm sure. But basically, I don't really care too much about these interior parts like here, but I'll give it a go anyway. In fact, I'll make sure not to do part of it just so you can easily see when it's done the difference between the two. Anyway, I think I got this done. Looks pretty good. Get a little bit more on this side. My problem here is the next step is you're going to be putting as much UV light as you can on it, because you need that UV light to make the chemical reaction to reverse the yellowing. So this container isn't a great choice because there's probably going to be shadows. It's just going to be really hard to get it evenly lit, but I don't really have a whole lot of other stuff to use here, so I'm going to have to deal with that. But I'm going to get it nice and centered, at least as centered as possible. That looks pretty good. And then you can buy black lights, which supposedly filter out all other light but UV light, or maybe put out UV light. I'm never really sure about black lights. I've never figured out exactly what they do and what they don't do. But basically, I'm just going to stick a lamp on this. I've actually got a black light. This lamp has 2 different bulbs in it. Let me show you. It's actually got a center one as well. So I'm going to put my black light in the center. I just bought one of those black light. It's a bulb like this, but it's a black light. Put that in the center. Turn both lights on. You might as well put as much light on it as you can. It's not going to hurt. Let's see. Move some stuff out of the way. Alright. And I've got another light. And I'll have to go get the black light, but there's that. Basically just let it sit for probably 8 hours You know, just do it before you go to sleep. You can check on it in the morning. So I've seen people get it done in, you know, 4 hours, and it'll be just fine, or, you know, even a couple hours. So, you know, 4, 6, 8 hours. Just let it sit in the light. You want the light on it the whole time. Ideally, you could put it out in the sun. Let me rephrase. Not out in the sun. You don't want this stuff to dry out, really. Touch this up a little bit. But you want it, since you want UV light, there's plenty of that coming from sunlight. So if you just put it outside, even in the shade, it's going to be completely surrounded by a lot of light. So you might do it before you go to work for that. Obviously, like I said, do it before you go to bed. Well, it's a little difficult if you want to put it outside, because the sun's normally out when most people are not out. The sun's normally not out when you sleep. So, anyway, I'm going to let this sit all night, just like this. Well, here we are after my second treatment. And it still has a little bit of color to it, maybe. It's definitely gray now instead of yellow. As you can see, obviously there's a little bit of remnant of the yellow right here where I didn't really cover that up. Did that on purpose. But if we look at the difference again between the bottom, big difference. Big difference indeed. Unfortunately, it still turned out brighter than the bottom, which kind of sucks. I don't know if I can actually get that gray color back, even if I did it again. I'm wondering if this is just the color it's going to go to. But it looks a lot better. It doesn't look like it fucking came out of World War II or something. So, I don't know. I'm satisfied. I think it looks good. Put some of these parts back on. Good measure. Spilling my screws everywhere. So yeah, better, not perfect. If the whole thing had been yellow and I had done the whole thing, it might look better, since it would at least match, probably. Once again, I probably could do it again, and it might help, but I don't know. If anyone has any tips on, if anyone's done this before, on why that didn't quite work out perfect, let me know. But other than that, time well spent, I think. Looks better. That's all I care about. So anyway, that's Retr0bright hydrogen peroxide. I used 12% in two different applications on it. I used cornstarch as a binder to make it a gelatin. Maybe that was my problem. Maybe cornstarch is not the right stuff. I mean, I've only read that you can use it. People have said, oh, you could probably use cornstarch, but I haven't read anything about people actually using it. But it was a hell of a lot cheaper than stuff I was looking at, so that's why I chose it. But anyway, hope you found it interesting, and take it easy.